Ever posted consistently for 3 months and felt like nothing was really happening, or run paid ads for weeks and wondered why the phone wasn't ringing? I want to tell you something today that might change the way you think about your marketing completely. Here's the thing, it's probably working. You're just not seeing it yet. Halfway through this video, I'm going to give you like a framework that explains exactly why. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room full of strangers, say at a networking event, your eyes kind of scan the room, and the moment you spot someone you recognize, even someone you've only met once or twice, something shifts. You feel more comfortable, more relaxed, and more likely to walk over to them than anyone else in the room. That feeling is the most important concept in marketing that almost nobody talks about. It's called the mere exposure effect. The mere exposure effect was identified by psychologist Robert Sejont, I think that's how you say it, in 1968. His research showed something simple but profound. The more often people are exposed to something, the more positively they feel about it. Not because the thing has changed, but because it's become more familiar. And this works even when people have no conscious memory of having seen it before. Their brain is forming opinions about your brand without them even realizing it's happening. Here's how it plays out in real life. Imagine you move to a new suburb and there's a cafe on the corner. You walk past it every single morning. You don't go in. You're not even really looking at it most days. But over weeks, over months, something changes. One morning, a mate suggests getting a coffee somewhere new, and without even thinking about it, you say, oh, there's a place near me I've been meaning to go to. You haven't been in there, haven't seen an ad, haven't consciously thought about it once, but you chose it. This is the mere exposure effect in action. And it's exactly what's happening in the minds of your potential clients every time they scroll past your content, they glance at an ad, or see your name mentioned somewhere online. Now, here's what makes this really important in 2026 specifically, because back in the 1970s and 80s, a brand needed somewhere between 3 to 5 exposures to make an impression. Like Coke, you see it on a billboard, you hear it on the radio, see someone drinking it, you spot an ad in the paper, you're done. Brand familiarity has been established. But in 2026 and beyond, that number is estimated to be in the thousands. Not because people have changed, but because the volume of competitive messages has absolutely exploded. Every platform, every app, every piece of content, including this one, is competing for the same finite amount of human attention. Which means two things. Showing up consistently has never been more important, and giving up after a few months after not seeing any results has never been more costly. This is where it becomes practically useful for your business. There are two fundamentally different ways to spend a marketing budget. Performance marketing, Google ads, meta ads, retargeting, blah, 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 drives immediate action. Click, convert, buy. It's measurable, it's safe. Most businesses overinvest here. Your brand marketing, your content, your social media, PR, sponsorships, this is what's building familiarity and preference over time. It is harder to justify because the ROI is delayed and almost invisible. Most businesses underinvest here significantly. And here's the key insight. Performance marketing captures the demand, but brand marketing creates it. The mere exposure effect is the mechanism by which your brand marketing works. Every impression, every post, every piece of content is building unconscious preference in your potential clients. Even the ones that scroll without engaging, even the ones that close your ad before it finishes, even the ones that open your email and don't click. All of it counts. Remember the networking analogy from the start? The reason you gravitate towards a familiar face is not because the person is objectively better than strangers around them. It's because familiar feels safer. Safer feels trustworthy, and trustworthy gets chosen. Your brand is doing this in the minds of your potential clients every single time they see it. Every piece of content, every post, every email, every impression, building the same thing: familiarity, trust, and preference. It's slow, it's invisible, but it's extremely powerful. And this is why the clients who seem to appear out of nowhere and say they've been following you for a while didn't just find you yesterday. The mere exposure effect had been working on them quietly for months. You earned that client with 6 months of showing up, not one lucky post, which everyone's kind of chasing. If the mere exposure effect builds preference through repeated, consistent exposure, then inconsistently, obviously, actively destroys it. Every time you change your colors, shift your fonts, update your messaging, you're resetting the familiarity your audience has been unconsciously building with your brand. Every time you go dark on social media for a month, the familiarity starts to decay. Every time you rebrand because you're bored of looking at the same thing, you're solving the problem at the expense of your audiences. Consistency is not a creative limitation. It is a psychological strategy. Here's the most important thing I want you to take away from all of this. Brand marketing does not pay off immediately, and it's not supposed to. The return compounds over time, like interest in a savings account. The businesses that show up consistently for 12 months has built something that businesses that runs burst campaigns every quarter has not. Unconscious preference in the minds of their potential clients. And that preference is extraordinarily hard for a competitor to displace. This is why Apple never stop advertising, even though everyone knows what Apple is. Not because they need to do brand awareness, because stopping would slowly erode the familiarity and preference they have spent decades building. Look, you don't need Apple's budget, you need Apple's discipline. Show up consistently over time. That is the strategy. So just stick to this formula. Number one, pick your platforms and stay on them. Commit to a consistent posting schedule on the platforms where your ideal clients spend most of their time. Not burst and disappear. A steady presence week after week. Number two, keep your visual identity the same. Same colors, same fonts, same feeling across every touch point. Every time your audience sees your brand, they should recognize it instantly. That instant recognition is the mere exposure effect working exactly the way it should. And number three, trust the long game. The business owners who pull their content after 3 months because it's not generating leads or stopping right before the compounding effect kicks in, stay the course. The familiarity is building whether you can see it or not. So your marketing is probably working better than you think it is. Every impression, every post, every ad view is doing something in the minds of your potential clients. You just can't see it on a dashboard. The businesses that understand this show up consistently over time without stopping. And that is the single most powerful marketing strategy available to any business of any size. So how long have you been consistently showing up in your marketing? Drop it in the comments below. I'll read every single one.